Yo guys, what is going on? Blossom is back and welcome back to another episode of Top Drives, and today we're going to be doing something that I've been writing for a while. I've wanted to discuss this issue for just about a couple weeks now, just since PL12 has been released, but finally, I can finally tell you my verdict on PL12. Now, as you can tell from the title already, it's a pretty serious topic to talk about. There's a lot in this video, so grab yourself some coffee or some tea or a bag of chips or a can of beans or a glass of milk or something, because there's a lot that we need to talk about in this update. There's a lot we need to discuss about, and of course at the end of the video I want you guys to start a discussion in the comments below if you want to. I just want to know what your thoughts are about what my thoughts are, but obviously this took a while to write, and obviously I wanted to make sure that I knew what I was talking about, and I just wanted to know what I was publishing before I would publish something, unlike Hutch that published PL12 and it's full of bugs. So anyway, let's get into it. PL12, the European Revolution, what I think about it and why I titled the video the way I'm going to title it. Is this the end of Top Drives? Obviously it's not going to be the end of Top Drives, but is it the beginning of the end for Top Drives? Well, this is the answer that we're going to answer today. So PL12, the European Revolution, what did it bring? First of all, we need to know what PL12 is, or what it was, what this update is, right? August 17th, 2020. We waited, what, I think 8 months, 7 months for this update. That's the longest we've ever waited for an update for quite a while. Every update before this, going from Italian Renaissance to Great Exhibition, or German Renaissance to Italian Renaissance, were about 3 to 4 months. This is almost double the time. So what do we get in PL12? Well, this is straight up from the patch notes on the App Store. The European Revolution is here. 6 new European car brands are added, and 2 more are updated, or revamped as I like to say, including Koenigsegg, Spyker, Gumpert, Di Tommaso, Donkervoort, Rimac, Peugeot, and Volvo. Now, for the seriousness of this episode, when it comes to the names, I will actually call Donkervoort, Donkervoort, and Koenigsegg, Koenigsegg, and Di Tommaso, right? So anyway, over 400 car corrections for enhanced authenticity, right? View cars you don't own with the new all cars view, a nice player of life feature or quality of life feature, and then added the new rest of the world tag. You gotta love those tags, right? The new cash grab, comes in for one event and then never comes back again. Honestly, I could make a whole video on that whole tag thing, silver screen, Call of the Wild. I think they're really cool. I think they're really creative, but I also think that they should stay in the game so they can be used as requirements in clubs or requirements for multiplayer events in the future, and not just come in, sit in for one challenge and then be taken away and never seen again. I don't like that idea. It's just so cash grabby. It's like, oh yes, these cards are only useful for one event and you will never use them again. Anyway, let's go to how Hutch saw it versus how I saw it and how many of the players saw it before I published this slide. And obviously if you guys want to check it out, I'll probably have the link in the description to the slide below for you to view. I also ran through this slide with a couple of my patrons just so I know that I wasn't going out of line with what I was talking about. But before I'm posting this video, it actually was how Hutch saw it versus how we saw it, but I changed it to how I saw it, and let me know if you agree with me, right? But I do feel that I do share a lot of the same opinions with maybe a lot of the players as well, but I changed it to how I saw it just in case. But anyway, the European Revolution, that's what the update is called. What I think it is, the side brand revolution, right? It's just a bunch of cars we never heard of, at least a bunch of cars I never heard of. To be honest, how many of you actually knew Donkervoort existed before this update? Raise your hands. I don't think a lot of you, right? So what did it bring? Koenigsegg, Di Tommaso, Donkervoort, Rimac, Spyker, Gumpert, revamps to Volvo, and Peugeot. What did I think it brought? Koenigsegg, Volvo, and what? I'm sorry, did I ask for any of these? To be fair, right, it's not like it's bad that they were added. It's just that I didn't see them coming, especially when we were first teased, oh, it's the European Revolution. You know what I thought about when it was European Revolution? The first thing I thought about that came to my mind was revamps to Mercedes, because that was a brand that hasn't been touched since the start of the game, and I was like, this has to be time. And I was also thinking of Saab and Seat, Skoda and Dacia. And as you can see here, when you think of European Revolution, the players expected Saab, Seat, Dacia, Skoda. I'm sure you sitting right now probably thought of Saab and Seat before you thought of Koenigsegg, and Gumpert, right? Obviously, when it comes to Rimac fits, right? It fits if they added Saab and Seat. It fits. Like, you can't just have the potato without the meat, and you can't have the meat without the potato. For this analogy's sake, of course, for me, I'm a meat lover. I will have like meat every day, but like, you know what I mean? Like, you want to have a balanced diet, you want to have a balanced update, right? You can have Rimac, but you need Saab and Seat. Rimac is kind of like SCG in American Dream. Imagine if American Dream was just SCG, and like there were no revamps to Chevrolet, and there was no Dodge, and there was no Chrysler, there was no Plymouth. It was just like maybe like SCG. Well, think about it this way. Think about it. What if it was just SCG, SRT, and Hennessy? That was the complete update. All legendaries, right? That wouldn't be fun. That wouldn't be balanced. So that's what I thought. That's what I think it would be, right? Rimac works if Saab and Seat, we're in. Everything is nice. Everything is balanced as all things should be, right? The around the world tag. All right. What I think of it, we made the Bentayga a useful tag. That's what it is. All right. That's it. And to be honest, right? Around the world tag didn't even add every single car from around the world. Where was the Colorado? It's literally a state, and it's not there, right? It's literally a state in the US, and it's not there, right? But the Bentayga, of course, it's just another way for Hutch to be like, we know the players don't really like Bentley in the game because they're heavy and they have bad MRA and they don't have handling. So let's make them useful in every event, so they have to make packs and collect cars nobody wants. That's why we've essentially had a Bentley finals 2 times this year, which, to be honest, you should only have one brand once a year. Once again, I can make a whole video on that, right? We didn't have 2 literal Bentley finals, but remember that, the British 4-wheel drive, it was literally just all high-end Bentley. That's what I mean. But once again, we made the Bentayga useful tag. That was it, right? Incredible amounts of reworks to car corrections, and of course that is a huge FU, man, to Roof, Audi, and Mercedes. Oh, the irony. You call it the European Revolution, but then you destroy some of the most popular brands from Europe. Mercedes. Come on, right? It's so annoying. The timing of what they did it as well. I get it. A lot of these reworks were, reworks were information based off the players, based off the community, right? There was a community telling Hutch, oh, this car should be low, this car should be medium. That's fair, but the time that they put it in, they should have at least released the retune feature because now you just have a bunch of players with a bunch of maxed epics that are just basically deemed useless. For example, the Roof R compressor. A lot of players that had the Roof R compressor or wanted to pack the Roof R compressor probably maxed it out for the Aerial Atom Finals, which was, as you can argue, one of the most advertised finals ever in Top Drives. They made a trailer, they made a web post. They didn't even do that for the Senna. They didn't even do that for, well, at least the trailer, right? They didn't do that for the Senna. They didn't do that for the 918, anything like that. So yeah, a lot of people had the compressor, maxed it out, and then suddenly, you nerf the compressor, you take away the MRA, the thing's useless now. What am I supposed to do, right? Anyway, new quality of life features. These were actually good. The all car feature is really, really amazing. It basically almost assassinated what you can get from that pack review because it's so easy to filter every car now. But that was a good change. I use it a lot. That was really good. So props to Hutch for that, right? One good thing, right? Next thing was bug fixes. Guess what? PL12 has more bugs now than before in PL11. It's insane. I can't go 5 races in clubs before my game crashing. It's insane. Anyway, moving on to why I think PL12 is the step in a wrong direction. First of all, and a lot of people agree with me because I went through my Patreon, I went through my, my Discord, I talked to a lot of people about this, so we are all, sharing points together, right? But I completely agree with them. It's heavily unbalanced. PL12 is so heavily unbalanced. Like I said earlier with the whole Rimac situation, you need the meat and you need the potatoes. You need a balanced diet. Let's compare European Revolution to Great Exhibition. First of all, look at the total amount of cars that was added in the game. 126 to 257. We waited twice as long for European Revolution to get twice less the amount of cars to Great Exhibition. That's already not a good start, right? Now look at the balance here. 42 legendaries, to 4 uncommons. You added 4 new uncommons, but you added 42 legendaries. Nowhere in your process, in the brain of Hutch, in the brain of your development team, in the brain of your planning team, did you ever think in European Revolution we're gonna ship out a whole new update that the players have been waiting 7 months for, and we're only gonna add 4 new uncommons? That's it? 4 new uncommons. We waited 8 months for 4 new uncommons and 9 rares. Compare that to Grid Exhibition, 26 to 29. Now compare ultra rares. Ultra rares are arguably the most important rank for any player in the game, right? It's a great high end for free to play, well, not free to play, but newer players, and it's also a great just food source for advanced players to feed into your epics, or to be the backbone of your tri-series hand. 14. They added 14. We waited 8 months for 14 ultra rares. There are 59 ultra rares from Grid Exhibition, only 14 in European Revolution. You want to know what the saddest part is? I don't have a picture of this, but there are more Aston Martin ultra rares than there are total ultra rares in the whole of European Revolution. That is sad. It's heavily unbalanced. The update underdelivered. There's no variety, and it's all exclusivity, because where did all the attention go to? The epics and the legendaries. Now granted, Grid Exhibition had a lot of legendaries too. 60 is an insane amount, but at least it's still somewhat balanced out by a good amount of ultras and super rares and epics. This one is like common and rare in European Revolution doesn't even pass 10. Uncommon doesn't even pass 5. That is just so depressing. And the worst part is we waited twice. And I'm going to say this throughout the video. We waited twice the time for this update to get less. It sucks. And if you think, oh, I'm only comparing this to Great Exhibition, okay, let me compare this to an update that was further into the past, right? Let's do German Renaissance per se, all right? 4 uncommons to 28 uncommons, 9 rares to 25, 13 rares to 29 rare, 13 commons to 29 commons, 13 super rares to 25 super rares. You get the point, right? German Renaissance had 20 more ultras than European Revolution, and once again, we didn't wait 8 months for German Renaissance from French Renaissance. It was like February to June, not July, because I remember what happened in July. And then 31 epics to 36, and then 42 to 26. Look, German Renaissance, that was balanced. That is great. And once again, 203 cars in total to 126. The thing is, and no one can argue with me, this is a fact, PL12 is a small update. It's one of the smallest updates we've had in a long time with only 126 cars. Now remember that point, because I'm going to use it in my argument later down the road, okay? But once again, like I said, not only that there was, this is heavily unbalanced, this is a blatant cash grab, which obviously isn't gonna help for your good image as a company, that you just want this update to be a blatant cash grab, right? It's just all legendaries. The thing is, right, I opened all 15 ER carbon fibers, I didn't get a single one, and you're telling me that I have to get 42? Come on. Like, it's already hard to get one. Italian Renaissance, I think I only have like 8 or 9, right? And that update has been out for a year now. You think anyone's gonna collect 42? Especially like if you're not spending like 10 grand a year? Come on, that's ridiculous, right? And of course, the legendaries. Let's talk about the legendaries as a whole. The legendaries are absolutely broken. You got the Chimera 1.80 to 60 that also has an incorrect drivetrain, is rear wheel drive when it should be all wheel drive, and you have the cars like the Peugeot 905B that has 100 handling stock. Listen, back in the day in Top Drives, there was like this little like cloud of super OP cars. It wasn't a lot. It was like the Suzuki Pikes Peak, the Porsche 918, and the Bugatti Chiron. And I guess now you can add the Bugatti Chiron Sport. It was a small little cloud, and then slowly with every update, more and more, the high end just became higher and higher and higher, and they're all prize cars too, so you can't even get them from packs. So it's literally like you need to spend money to get them. And these cars are just so game breaking. 100 handling stock? Come on. Like, at this point, you got to think about adding a new rarity above S to fit in cars like the Chimera and the 905B, to add in the 918, the Bugatti Chiron Sport. Because these cars, let's be honest, you can't put them in the same rarity as a Porsche Panamera or a Lotus Evora 410. It's just such a big difference. I know the scale is RQ80 to 100 or 99, but still it's such an insane difference. And of course you have those Remax as well, which are absolutely insane. It's just crazy. The stats stats are too much. But anyway, that is my personal opinion on the legendaries things. Let me know what you think about that. But I personally think that some of the legendaries here deserve a new rarity. They're just so far off. Their stats are just too OP, right? At least for the demon, although it has an insane 0 to 60, it's balanced by the fact that it doesn't handle and that, you know, it's heavy and it has no MRA. But the 905B, it looks like a card that does it all, right? And that's game breaking. Anyway, let's continue. First of all, we learned that, it was unbalanced, and now we're gonna figure out, why it also under-delivered. And once again, like I said, in twice the time. See, first of all, when you think of ER, you think of Skoda, Seed, Saab, Dacia. And I don't know why they didn't add. Why did you not add Skoda, Seed, Saab, and Dacia? It would have provided a great lower end variety. You would have increased the ultras and the super rares and the uncommons and the commons and the rares. Like, why didn't you add them? Was it licensing problem? Like, you had 8 months, man. What were you doing? Sleeping? I don't know. But anyway, adding Gunpowder and Donkey isn't bad if there's a balance. Like I said earlier, you need a balance to everything. If you want a lot of high end, you also need a lot of low end to make things fair, right? Revamps to Volvo was expected, Peugeot was not, but of course revamps to Peugeot was also welcomed because Peugeot hasn't been touched since 2016. But then again, Mercedes and Audi is left to rot again. And Mercedes and Audi are arguably, not even arguably, they are more popular brands than Volvo and Peugeot. And once again, no love, no new cars, no revamp. So my question is, why didn't they just revamp Mercedes, Audi, Peugeot, and Volvo in one update? They're all European brands, right? It's called the European Revolution. Might as well, right? This is my theory, okay? They decided not to revamp Mercedes and Audi in the same update because they wanted to prolong the length and the life of top drives. They're like, why do we need to do it all at once when we can do release another update somewhere down the line, like in another 8 months time or whatever, however long it takes you to do your freaking updates now. They'll be like, yeah, we can do it in another update and we'll call it, the European Revolution Part 2 or whatever. At this point, right, the players are already pissed because when you think about it, all the past updates, European Revolution, Great Exhibition, what was it, German Renaissance? Italian Renaissance, German Renaissance, French Renaissance. You see a correlation between the last 5 updates? They're all Italian, they're all European, right? They're all European updates. Where's Japan? Or Asia, for that matter? Korea makes cars, Hyundai, Kia, and where's the US? Huh? Robin, if you're watching this episode, you know back in 2018 when American Dream came up, I asked you, where was the 1969 Dodge Charger? Arguably the most popular Dodge of all time that wasn't in the American Dream update. You said you added it to the list. Where is it? It's been 2 years now. But yeah, you know what I mean? It's like they're trying to extend the length, saying, oh, we can do another update and that one will be Mercedes and Audi. But guess what? In your efforts to try and prolong or increase the length of top drives, you're actually decreasing it because you're just making all these lackluster updates, or not all these lackluster updates. PL11 was great. But PL12 is, once again, the first step in the wrong direction. You're making all these updates which are just so under-delivering. It's pissing me off. You should have just added Mercedes and Audi in this update. Mercedes and Audi should have came with Peugeot and Volvo. And guess what? If you added Mercedes and Audi, maybe you would have brought up that very sad 126 total to at least 200, right? Like, that's a respectable number. But no, they didn't want to do it all in one update for some reason. And of course, like I said, we waited twice the time for less cars. And I don't know what the problem was. They didn't want to do it. They didn't want to add more cars. Licensing? Can't be licensing. The car's already licensed, right? I don't know. I don't get it. But of course, on a side note, this update also was in Japanese. And that's why I added it in under-delivered, because a lot of people was expecting this to be Japanese. But let's talk about that. Let's talk about the update and how it was in Japanese. What I like to call the Japanese issue, okay? So first of all, initially I believed updates to be big. All right, so I'm sure a lot of you might have remembered, I might have talked to you privately on Instagram or on Discord. Before PL12 was even announced, a lot of players in the Top Drives community, and I've even talked about this to Hutch, you might remember if you're watching this video, a lot of players in the community were expecting the next update, PL12, this is back in Great Exhibition times, that the next update would be Japanese. And they were assuming the next update was going to be Japanese, because we haven't had a Japanese update since the Mazda, right, which was like PL6 or something like that, right? So So it's fair to assume, I guess, that the next update would be Japanese because we haven't had one in a long time. But then I was telling people on Discord, I was telling people on Instagram, yo, don't expect, like a lot of people were really convincing themselves that the next update was Japanese when Hutch didn't say a single thing. So I was telling people, yo, alright, don't expect the next update to be Japanese, okay? Hutch didn't say a single thing, and if the update isn't Japanese, you're just going to be disappointed, and you can't really blame Hutch because they didn't even say anything, right? So at that point, I was just like, yeah, that's fine. Like, don't think the next update is going to be Japanese because Hutch didn't say anything, and you're just expecting it because it hasn't been out for a long time. Now, the reason why I said this too was because back in the thought of my mind, I was pretty convinced that the next update wasn't going to be Japanese. I knew that the next update was probably either going to be American or European Revolution. But then, in the back of my mind, European Revolution also meant Skoda and Saab and Seat. And once again, I have people that can confirm this information because I've talked to people about this, especially one of my patrons, Tobias, right? We've talked about this many times. But yes, where was I? So I was thinking about, I was thinking in the back of my head that it wasn't going to be Japanese because one of the main reasons why I thought it wasn't going to be Japanese and it was going to be something European or American again is I was under the mindset that updates were big, 250 cars plus. Now, in order to get a Japanese update to have 250 cars, yes, they would have to get the license of Toyota and Lexus because Toyota gets Lexus and you also get Daihatsu. That's like probably already 150 cars in that, right? So because of that, I was just like, yeah, even if they added like Mitsuoka and Isuzu and did revamps to Nissan and all that, I feel like the update just wouldn't be as big enough to stand with the updates Hutch has done before, like Great Exhibition and French Renaissance. I hope this makes sense, right? So because of that, because I thought that updates, were big and they were only getting bigger, that the Japanese update was not viable until a Toyota license was secured by Hutch, which seemed unlikely because Toyota is Toyota. Fine. That's what I thought. Then PL12 came out with a whole new blueprint, right? See, the PL12 blueprint was a bunch of small brands and revamps to some. So this just opened a whole new can of worms for me because I was like, oh, I thought the European Revolution was going to be a lot bigger. I thought Hutch only did big updates now. I mean, especially when you waited 8 months, you would think that the content will be at least the same or more than an update where we waited less time for, in this case, PL11. So I thought this update was going to be huge, and the prospect of a Japanese update for a massive update is very small, very minuscule. But then PL12 came out, it was very small, only 126 cars. So now I think Toyota is just becoming an excuse, like honestly, because what could have been is Mitsuoka, Isuzu, Ota Jidosha, all right, which is a car, a manufacturer which I found out existed like 2 days ago, and then revamps to the cars that already exist like Suzuki, Nissan, Mazda, and Honda, all the ones, and Mitsubishi, right? Because when you think about it, if they added these 3 new brands and did the revamps to all these other Japanese brands, I would say maybe the count of update cars would be around maybe 150 to 170. So definitely smaller. And in the past, I would think it's unjustified because Hutch wants to go bigger and bigger with their updates. But once again, like I said, PL12 was small. So using this new blueprint, it seems that what could have been is what should have been, right? And you can argue, oh, Mitsuoka, why would we license Mitsuoka? Nobody heard of Mitsuoka. That's what Hutch could argue, right? Nobody heard of Dunkaport. So what's the point? And then you can also argue Ota Jidosha, right? Ota Jidosha is a Japanese brand that was back in the 60s. It went bankrupt a long time ago. It's not a thing anymore, and it's only made like 2 cars. But once again, you added Rimac, which also only has 2 cars. You added SCG, which only has 1 car. You know what I mean? So what I see now, even without the Toyota, Daihatsu, and the Lexus card for you to play Hutch, you could have still done a Japanese update. And guess what? Now thinking about it, you could have even made it big. You could have made it an Asian update, added Kia and Hyundai as well. But yeah. Once again, I digress. This is what could have been. This is the Japanese issue. Moving on, though, to PL12 once again and why it's in a step in the wrong direction. Once again, to summarize, it feels rushed, right? We've had a lot less cars, and obviously it's ironic that it feels rushed because we waited twice the time. It's too greedy. It's just a cash grab. You have tags like around the world which only come in for like a month and then they disappear, never to be seen again. It's like, oh yeah, buy our around the world elite pack so we can get money, and then we're gone. And then of course it feels poorly made because of all the bugs and all this in twice the wait time. As you can see here, all the pictures of the bugs, which I will get into later because the developers at Hutch decided to blame our Wi-Fi initially for this problem. That was pathetic. That was low, right? And of course, the players feel underappreciated. The next few slides are going to be why I think the players feel underappreciated, okay? So let's go beyond the update. All right, so this is after PL12 has dropped. This is now PL12 is live, and you know, once again, first of all, the first part of this video was me talking about why I thought PL12 was a lackluster update in the content that it gave us. Now we're gonna see PL12 after it was posted and all the problems it had. All right, first one we want to talk about are the bugs. Look at this one, right? You can get 3 yellow birds now. You could also get 3 of the Bugattis or 3 of any prize car. Really, it's a small glitch. It's not gonna break the game. Obviously, if I try to click confirm fuse, the game would just go into a server error and it will crash. That being said, a bug is a bug regardless. Obviously, we have all these club overlay bugs, and once again, we have the challenge overlay bugs, but then the most notorious one of all, it's not even a bug, it's just a mistake. Everyone remembers this, right? It was 2 weeks ago, don't think I forgot it, Hutch, the European Revolution Carbon Fiber Elite Pack. Everyone remembered this one when they worded it wrong? Look, 5 cards, 3 Ultra or better, 1 Donkavort, 1 Spiker, 1 Peugeot, all European Revolution cards. You see what the problem here is, right? Because if it actually does what it says and it guarantees 1 Peugeot and 1 Spiker, that's 2 guaranteed epics. Obviously, that wasn't the case. It was just, as Hutch said, it was just error with the name. And of course, the pack was indeed a European Revolution pack, so you could get just 3 Ultras and not guaranteed 2 epics, and you could get cards like the Koenigsegg and the Remake as well. But obviously, it was just a mistake. It was a name, it was a mistake with the spelling. It was a mistake with the name. So what did Hutch do to resolve this problem? Oh, this is what they did. The pack is no longer available and will not return. That's it. They took it away. They saw the problem, they took it away. That's how they fixed it. That's not really fixing it. They just took it away. That's it. Look, I don't even know whose idea it was to take away the pack, but that is incredibly stupid on every level, even on a business perspective. Hutch, if you want to make money off your players, you want them to buy the elite pack. But then you took it away. Look at this. Is this serious? I wanted to buy it. This hurts. People actually wanted to buy that pack. All you needed to do was, what I would have done probably would be, you know, fix the name. And then after I fixed the name, I would have given all the players a compensation. And now this isn't a massive mistake per se, so I would have just compensated them with probably a ceramic pack. A European Revolution ceramic pack. That would have been fine. Right? But no, they made it worse. Not only did they make the problem, they just took it away. That's it. They never brought it back. They just took it away. Like, that's like saying, oh, PL12 was a crap update. We're just going to take it away. We're just going to go back to PL11. Like, come on. It's the same energy. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about the bug fixes that came afterwards, right? Obviously, there were a bunch of bugs. The players were not happy. They, once again, they felt underappreciated because they spent a lot of time investing in this game. And it's not like the company that made the game is even investing in the game themselves. And, you know, there are all these bug problems. So let's talk about the bug fixes. We've had 2 bug fixes since PL12 dropped. Did any of them work? No, let's be honest. The only thing that these 2 updates fixed was at the initial release of PL12. If you played the game for more than 5 minutes, your phone would be hotter than lava, right? It would be as hot as fire, right? That they fixed that, but all the overlaying problems continued. And so, of course, when the bugs continued, the players continued to also tell Hutch, hey, you still got your bugs, right? There's still a problem in the game. You know how Hutch replied to this initially? Well, look at this, right? The Top Drive Show September Q&A. This posted September 4th. Today is the 6th, so this came out 2 days ago. And one of the questions was talking about the bugs. And you know how they replied to this? You know what the developers said? Oh, it's most likely due to the player's Wi-Fi, and that's why all these bugs are occurring. Yeah, that's right. They're blaming us for their problems. They're blaming our Wi-Fi. All right, here, let me just and this is all initial, right? Obviously, they said they were wrong, and I'll get to that later. But They blamed our Wi-Fi. They had the audacity to not even check what the actual problem was, and they were like, nope, it's your fault, it's your Wi-Fi. That's how they treat the players, by the way. That's how us, the customers, the ones that are buying your carbon fiber packs, that's how you're treating us. You're blaming us. Like, that's ridiculous, right? Let me tell you something real quick. Before PL12, as you guys know, I was living in Singapore. My Wi-Fi in Singapore was about 30 to 50 Mbps per second. I know it's not the fastest. I'm sure people are out there like 1 gigabyte per second or something, but to me that was enough, right? And then when I moved over to Malaysia, I got a new Wi-Fi, router and everything, new company, and now it goes 100 Mbps per second. That's 3 times faster. But I did not experience this bug when I was back in Singapore, but I'm experiencing it now in Malaysia when I have faster Wi-Fi, and you have the audacity to tell me that the Wi-Fi is the problem? Come on. Now, once again, as you can see, they posted this on the forums. On behalf of us, I apologize. After clarifying with QA, it does appear that the issue with UI overlapping is caused by our anti-spam measures and UI transitioning more than anything else. We did expect slow internet connection to be one of the contributors to the issue, but I suppose we somehow confused which issue this was actually related to. Come on. So you're telling me that you don't even research the answers to the people's questions before you post the Top Drive show? Unlike my channel, where I post almost daily, you post 2 times a month. You have all the time in the world to find the questions that you want to answer, review the questions that you want to answer, and come up with the best possible answer to the questions you want to answer. And you can't even do that correctly? Come on, it's research. Research. And I want to talk more about research, okay? Because look at this one. If you go into the same show, and obviously it has 85 dislikes for a reason, you go into the September Q&A, you go into 21 minutes and 55 seconds, Hutch Dimitri literally says that they think that for the 3-year anniversary, all the players are going to get a carbon fiber pack. Now, first of all, when Hutch reached its 3-year anniversary, everybody got the GE Premium. And I didn't think too much of it. I was just like, oh, GE Premium. At least we're getting something for free. We should be grateful that we got something for free, right? So it's fine. I'm happy with it. I took it. I got an RQ42 and I fused the car right away, right? And that was fine until this episode came out. Because this episode showed us that even the developers thought that we were going to get a carbon fiber. Now think about that. Why did they think that we were going to get a carbon fiber for a 3-year anniversary? Because it's a 3-year anniversary. It seems appropriate, doesn't it not, to get a carbon fiber for 3 years? See, I thought about this as well, but I was just like, you know what, at this point it's Hutch, they gave us something for free, I'm just going to take it. But now this opens a whole new can of worms, because even the developers thought that we were going to get a carbon fiber, and we didn't. And as you can see here, once again, in the comments, right, they said, correction, we gave a premium pack for the 3rd birthday, not a carbon fiber pack, right? Once again, not doing their research. The thing is, right, the funniest part was, right, like, I don't know, it's a UK premium. They couldn't even give us a ceramic pack. So technically they gave us a ceramic pack, like a premium pack that had worse odds. Because the country premiums, they have worse odds than the regular ceramic pack. So, like, just so stingy. So stingy. But once again, we can't be mad because we got free stuff. But like I said, if the developers were even thinking that we were going to get a carbon, it makes you think, doesn't it? It makes you think. Once again, now I want to stick on research because now we're going to talk about my favorite part of all, the research team. The car research team. You know that picture of Patrick? I think that's what the research team at Hutch looks like, okay? Look at this. This is from the patch notes. Car corrections and rarity changes. The PL12 European Revolution update will feature more corrections to existing cars than ever before. Over 400 in total. Our community members worked tirelessly over the last few months to bring more authenticity to your gaming experience. As you can see here, our community members, right? So it's the players that's getting the statistics correct, not whoever is in a Hutch that is giving the initial stats. No, it's the players. And what do they get for tirelessly working over the last few months? We are eternally grateful for their passion and hard work. Look, I don't know about this one too much, right? I don't know if Hutch actually gave carbon fibers or ceramics to these players, because I wasn't one of them, obviously, but there were players in the forums that always talked about, all these car corrections. I hoped that for all their hard work, they at least got a carbon fiber pack for their efforts, and not just, oh, we are eternally grateful for your passion heart. Just a little pat on the back, of a participation medal. I hope they actually got what they deserved for all that work, because these community members are doing a better job than the actual car statistic research team at Hutch. Because remember, what did the actual car statistics research team at Hutch do for us? They gave us the Bentley Continental GT3, which was a 5-seater initially. And then they gave us like cars like the Audi RS Coupe or the RS6 or literally every BMW and Mercedes in the game, and decided to call it medium. Like, who in the right mind initially thought, we're gonna classify this in medium, and now they change it all to low, and then suddenly all these cars are useless for city streets, and city streets medium and city streets small, and anything with a bump or motocross track, whatever. Like, come on. It pisses me off. It's now we're at the point where I'm afraid to max any car that is medium. I have a Cadillac ATS-V in my garage, and I have enough epic fuse material to max it out. Right now, it's the best medium ground clearance American car, non-price, in the game. And I want to max it out for that reason alone. But I'm afraid to do that because I feel like in PL13, they're going to be like, oh, sorry, it's low. It's funny because I spent about 45 minutes online, and once again, if you know me on Patreon or if you know me on Discord, you know this is real. I spent about 45 minutes trying to find the actual ground clearance of the Cadillac ATS-V online, on Motor Trader, everything, every website, Top Gear, whatever. I couldn't find it anywhere. So because of that, since I couldn't find a confirmation that the medium ground clearance was not 136 millimeters or whatever the guideline is, or 120, whatever, wasn't that number, I was like, no, I can't invest in the ATS-V because who knows, it might go low. But yeah, the research team, the car stats research team is completely useless. I don't think I don't even think they exist at Hutch. I don't know what they're doing, but I don't even think they're car people. They don't even know what they're talking about. I don't care. I am shooting shots at the car stats research team at Hutch. They don't know what they're doing. This, a 5-seater, and you can tell that the people that worked there before, they haven't been fired yet when they should be, because the Gemera is wrong in its statistics. The drivetrain is completely wrong. Everyone is telling me it should be 4-wheel drive when it's rear-wheel drive. Like, Anyway, shout out to the community members that worked tirelessly over this. Thank you so much for actually making the game more authentic, as authentic as it should be. But God, it grinds my gears, man. But anyway, PL12 in a nutshell has shown us that there are constant bugs and they're slow resolves. So they're slow to fix their bugs, right? It's poorly handled. There's a poorly handled approach to car research, right? Along with car reworks. And like I said, if you were gonna bring out 400 reworks to cars, at least release the retune feature and tell us in advance what cars are getting reworked, so the players can strategically, plan out their garage for what is to come. But no, you kind of just throw the reworks at us without giving us an opportunity to retune. And once again, the retune feature has been something that was like, was announced back in like March, May. It's been out for a couple months now, this idea, which we haven't received, right? We've had a poorly handled approach, or we've seen a poorly handled approach to mistakes, like the elite pack wording and how they just took the pack away. The development team, they can't get the correct information, right? Like in the Top Drive show, they can't even give us the correct information. They can't even answer the questions correctly, right? The Top Drive show editor, he didn't even bother to edit out the carbon and Wi-Fi sections, right? Like, obviously, like, he either couldn't be bothered, or he was just as clueless as the developer. So, in the result, it's a lose-lose situation, right? It's like, all right, do you want to be known as the guy that couldn't be bothered to edit those parts to save your colleague's skin because they answered the question, the wrong way? Or were you just as clueless because you didn't know anything as well as your colleagues, and so you just let the video out? Like, it's funny. I just think it's funny that they made a mistake on the carbon and the blaming our Wi-Fi thing, but they kept it in the video. It's like that when they edited the video, they were just like, they didn't even realize they were wrong yet. They were like, this answer is correct. There's gonna be no backlash to this. I'm gonna release the video. I'm not gonna edit those parts out. Like, it was just there. It was just annoying. But what does this mean? What does this mean is that this shows shows that the team doesn't seem to be fully invested in the game, man. Like, come on, all these problems, like, unlike many of the players, a lot of the players are a lot more invested than I feel like the team is right now, right? Because if the team was as invested as the players, if they were as passionate to top drives as, as passionate could be, right, they would strive for something close to perfection. Obviously, you cannot achieve perfection because when a new update comes out, bugs are inevitable. The players get it. I get it. Bugs are inevitable. But come on, it's been almost a month since this update's release, and we're still getting the same bugs that we were getting at release, right? And once again, we're also getting bugs at an insane scale. This isn't like 1 or 2 bugs. This is like 5 or 6. I just feel like they don't care about the game as much as the players do, and that's why we feel underappreciated. We feel like we feel kind of hopeless in a sense. It's sad. It's really sad. But yeah, anyway, the things that they should have done or they could have done is, once again, like I said, they could have told us in advance that there were major card changes, specifically in height and ground clearance changes, and not just a couple days, maybe like a week or so, right? It's not like this news is gonna rock the world. It's not like you're gonna tell us a week in advance Koenigsegg is coming to the game. It's just something to help the players strategically with their garage, and to help them with the long run, because this game is a marathon, not a sprint, right? They could have not released the retune feature. I mean, they could have not released anything until the retune feature was complete, so players would have a chance to retune their cars, or at least plan out what they were going to retune prior to the update. And the most important part, played the game themselves for a few hours before they released it live. I feel like the people that work at Hutch don't play top drives as passionately as I do, or as like 50 players that I can name, like Edward and Zealand and Bob and Derek, the Boars, right? Or Android. Like, there's so many people that play this game a lot more, and I feel like the people at Hutch just don't play the game at the level that we do, and so therefore they don't understand the game at the level that we do. From what I've seen from Top Drive Show, like, John doesn't seem like he plays the game. John doesn't even seem like he plays the game. Dimitri said that he finished the campaign, and that's about it. And then I think the only person that plays it the most is Tim. Right, and that's it. The guy with the beard. That's it. And he's nowhere as near the level as some of us players. So I don't know, man. And of course, not made the first try series ×5 ER. Once again, this is Hutch being greedy. ×5 ER for the first ever requirement after the update. Now that's a whole new level of greedy, right? When PL11 dropped, it wasn't, Great Exhibition ×5 wasn't the first update. Wasn't the first requirement after the update for a tri-series. It was actually Lotus, right? And then same with Italian Renaissance. It wasn't Italian Renaissance ×5 that was the first requirement. It was Alfa Romeo. That was a pattern, and it worked because Lotus and Alfa Romeo and BMW from German Renaissance, they all had this common balance. Once again, balance. They all had this common balance where it was a brand that already existed in the game, but it also combined new cars that was part of the new update. And so in a way, players would already be somewhat ready because they already had some of the cars in the game, because the brand was already in the game before the update. But then Hutch would also have a chance to make money because there are new cars added, and so they would have to open new packs to get the new BMWs, the new Alphas, the new Lotuses, right? And then obviously they would do ER, like ×5 GR, ×5 RR, ×5 GE, the next update, which gives the players a month. It gives them players a month to collect these completely new cars. But no, this time we went headfirst into ×5 ER, and it was a complete cash grab. And it was worse in a sense because at least for German Renaissance, Italian Renaissance, Great Exhibition, players could open UK premium packs, Italian premium packs, they could open German premium packs for these new cars. It would have a pretty high chance. But for this, the best chance that you could get to get a new Volvo or a new Peugeot or a Donkervoort, since there's no rest of the world ceramic or no Swedish ceramic or no Dutch ceramic, was a regular ceramic. And as you can see here, the number of cars that weren't legendary were too hard to get. Example, basically you could only get Volvos out of a basic ceramic pack. So even if they went ×5 Peugeot or ×2 ER would have been better. So I feel like right now, as I'm recording this video, the Viper GTSR prelims is ×5 Volvo. I think they should have switched it. So the Viper was before, with ×5 Volvo, because Volvo was already in the game prior, before PL12 dropped, and then the Senna should come after, which, it follows the pattern. And I think it worked better that way. I don't know why they changed it, because they made it worse. So hopefully coming to PL13, they would get rid of this practice and go back to ×5 of this common brand that was here before the update and is now also had been revamped, and then the new update times 5. You know what I mean? Anyway, moving on. What was the result of PL12? We've talked about a lot of negative things. Hutch has done a lot of negative things, and a lot of things has gone south. What has happened? Players that were close to leaving have left, right? Obviously, like I said, we waited 8 months for a new update. Players were already getting kind of bored of the game. They were already thinking, maybe I should start doing something else with my life. Maybe I shouldn't be channeling thousands of dollars into the game every month, right? So these players were already close to leaving, and then you ship out PL12, which is lackluster, which is an insult to the players, which is just a huge scam and a cash grab. That's like the leaf or the twig or the whatever it said that broke the camel's back. You know that saying? So players that were close to leaving have left. And as you can see here, I got examples of 4 people leaving. Hey guys, just a quick note. That's note to say that's me done with Top Drives. Goodbye, Top Drives. So I've been selling off chunks to my garage. Hello, Top Drivers. I'm about to leave. The thing is, right? Some of these guys are actually my friends, right? Eric left. You guys remember Erthik? He was a bore. He still is a bore. Massive garage, 50,000 plus trophies, a lot of prize cars. He left. That's a massive loss for Hutch as well, because that's like thousands of dollars that they just lost out on a customer because of everything that's happened, how poor everything has been, right? You know, and now some players that weren't even thinking about leaving is thinking about leaving now. Because, you know, we got to invest in the future of the game. Is this game worth playing, you know, next year, in the years to come? And with an update this bad, you know, if Hutch continues in this direction, even players like me are starting to question, should I stay with this game? Should I look for different avenues? Because if this game's going to go south, I need to go something else to save my butt. You know what I mean? Or something else to take my time. So players that weren't even thinking about leaving is now thinking about it, right? There needs to be a future for this game for the players to invest in. And because of this update, a lot of people are questioning that now. That's not good. It's time for Hutch to bounce back, all right? So ending on the positives, right? Because obviously, I've had my fair share of shots this video, but I think they had to be said, right? Although PL12 is a step in the wrong direction, I genuinely think it is. You can tell me you might think it's the right one in the comments down below, but it would be hard to convince me otherwise. I remain faithful that things will turn for the better, right? I do question what the future is going to be, but then there is also a very strong hope that, you know, Hutch will bounce back. PL13 will be better, you know, and like everything will just restructure itself again, right? You know, a reason why PL12 is being scrutinized, you know, so harshly, right, is because PL11 set the bar incredibly high. Great Exhibition was an absolutely amazing update. It had great variety, great balance, great cars, and those cars had great pictures as well, right? And it also introduced a whole new game mode in championships with the Yellowbird series. We didn't even get a new like championship series in European Revolution. And once again, we waited twice the time. Right? We got so much content in PL11 that obviously it set the bar incredibly high, and I wanted PL12 to at least, you know, be on the same length as PL11, if not better. It would be hard to get PL12 to be better than PL11, to be fair, but at least on the same wavelength or somewhere around it, just close to it. But no, that wasn't the case. Not the case at all, right? And once again, the players, right, I think the most positive thing to take from this is that the players are still speaking up their concerns. Because let's be honest, once the players stop caring, once everything goes quiet, you know, if I'm not making a video like the video I'm making right now, you know you've effed up. You know you've lost. You've lost the players. If the players are still speaking up, it means that the players still care, right? I still care about this game very, very much. Top Drives is still, and probably will forever be, my favorite mobile game ever. But just the direction it's going right now, it's just not looking good. So hopefully Hutch can bounce back. Hopefully they do take these concerns. Hopefully they're not butthurt by all these complaints, but they actually think about it as constructive criticism. Because this is what this video is. Although I've had a lot of shots, it is constructive criticism. It's, you know, it's time to bounce back, right? I just hope PL13 is going to be great. And I hope that Hutch really starts listening to their players more. Maybe be a bit less, you know, business-minded, a bit less greedy. I mean, there are ways to do business well and badly. You could choose to be Valve, or you could choose to be EA, right? They're both bringing in stacks of money, but one has a better image than the other, right? Valve has a much better image than EA. So yeah, I mean, I just feel like there's some changes. There's definitely changes, not some, a lot. There are definitely a lot of changes that needs to be in place to bring Hutch and top drives, especially top drives, on the right track. But it is possible. We know PL11 showed us that they can really make an amazing update, but PL12 has shown us that they can really make a lackluster one too. So hopefully PL13 will bounce back. I remain hopeful. But once again, guys, share your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think. This is these kind of videos are not really common on my channel. I think the last time I made a rant this big was clubs, the introduction of clubs, and how the first season of clubs was just so bad. But yeah, once again, guys, I just want to thank you for your time. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And once again, if you want to support me and my channel, my Instagram and my Patreon links are down in the description below. It will help me a lot. And of course, I've recently made a website where the link will be in the description below as well. But with that said, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Remember to stay safe and wash your hands. Blossom out.